bonuses can be incredibly powerful if you use them correctly. They can turn a 4-figure campaign into a 5-figure campaign, a 5-figure campaign into a 6-figure campaign. But, and you may not realize this, they can also go the other way. They can also negatively impact a campaign in a pretty significant way if you do it wrong. Okay, in this one, I want to talk to you about the right way to leverage bonuses for your next campaign, for your course, for your coaching offer, for your consulting offer. This is going to help you out a lot. Plus, I've got some really cool extra shit that I've learned from selling millions and millions of dollars online, running a ton of my own campaigns, and helping clients make a ton of money with this as well. Okay, so let's dive right in. All right, so this is going to be for you. If right now you're in the middle of a campaign, this could be a price increase, you're launching something new, even a lower ticket campaign, you're launching literally anything new, a workshop, a course, a coaching offer, a mastermind. And even if you're not in the middle of this right now, watch this entire video, save it, put it in your bookmarks, whatever, so that next time you do run a campaign, you can revisit this and make sure that you tackle this correctly. Okay. You can consider this your crash course in creating bonuses the right way. This means, what does the right way mean? This means creating them so they actually enhance the offer, so that they actually improve the campaign, and so that you ultimately land more sales rather than going the other way. And this is something that people don't typically think about. Okay, so let's get right into it. First thing I want to touch on is what I call the digital junk problem. Okay, and this is a bit of a brutal truth. Most bonuses suck. Most bonuses are digital junk. Okay, they're random PDFs that people slap together at the last minute. They end up sitting on the hard drive and they never ever get open, and then they've got this like fake value sitting next to them, right? This is like your outdated swipe files from years and years and years and years and years ago that no one's ever going to fucking use. Okay, so here's what I've learned. If you use weak bonuses and they don't help your offer, it's not like a net neutral. They actually hurt it. They can actively damage it because they really impact perceived value, perceived authority, and perceived credibility. They can make you look desperate, right? Your credibility can take a hit, and the overall value of the core offer, the main thing that you're trying to sell, goes down. Okay, so I'm going to give you a better way in this one. All right, I want to talk to you about what I call the real value framework. Okay, so this is how we build bonuses that actually move the needle, right? We want these to be things that, as the name implies, have real world value. Okay, so these could be things that people currently buy separately every day, or they're of a quality that you would feel comfortable selling them separately in today's market, right? So we could call this like, the real world test. Do they currently sell out in the market every day, or would you feel comfortable putting up a sales page and having your brand represent this product? If the answer is no, don't put it in. If the answer is yes, there's a good chance, assuming it's congruent with the core offer, that that's going to be a good bonus. Okay, we want things with clear market value, things that clearly have substance, things that are clearly congruent to the core offer. And we want them to solve specific and urgent problems. This is how we create something that ultimately complements the main thing that we are trying to sell. Okay, a couple more ideas to help you really stack on these bonuses. Exclusive access, okay? So these could be content or resources that people can't get anywhere else, right? Keep in mind what I said about you should be comfortable selling it separately, but you can also take an exclusivity approach where you can create something truly unique, truly one of a kind that people can't get anywhere, right? These could also be limited time opportunities, right? They may be something where, the first 5 people get this bonus, or only the people in this campaign are going to get this bonus, and then it's on the shelf, right? You can also think about including behind the scenes things. This is going to depend on your market and depend on what your offer is, but think about how can I take, people behind the veil? How can I show them something that's a lot more exclusive and that's a lot more private? People love that kind of stuff, okay? The other thing that I want to give you an idea around is implementation support. Okay, if you're looking at your core offer, think what other ways could I assist people with implementing the core training, right? You could look at some specific group calls, you could think about implementation workshops, you can think about, ways that you can give them direct feedback in addition to what's included in the core offer. All right. If you take these three elements, you do away with the shitty PDFs and you take these three elements, you'll have a really, really good start when it comes to creating high value bonuses. So they can stand on their own 2 feet in the market, right? And you'd be proud to put them out there. They're clear, they're specific, they solve an urgent problem, right? Potentially they're exclusive in that they're not available anywhere else. There's limited time, limited spots. Maybe it's some behind the scenes stuff that you've never shared before, right? Or it's incremental support, right? It could be very specific support, either specific in nature from a logistical perspective or specific in subject matter where, it could be a call where you're going to go deep onto one component from your core offer. Okay, so this is a good foundation. This is a solid foundation, but I've got more for you. All right, here's a bit of a rule to remember, right? Every bonus should either speed up implementation, deepen the results that people get, or solve adjacent problems to the core problem that the main offer is solving that will ultimately help with the implementation of the core offer anyway. Okay, just a really good rule of thumb to keep in mind. And if you're reviewing your current bonuses, run them over that lens and go, well, does it do one or multiple of these things? And if not, cut it, go back to the drawing board and follow that initial 3-step plan. Okay, let's go a little bit more deeper, a little bit more specific. All right. Most people don't think about this. This is what I call the pre-sell bonus. Your bonuses don't have to be limited to things that you've got right now. You can use your bonus as an opportunity to pre-sell something. Okay. So what I mean by this is you can include things that you haven't done yet. You can include calls, you can include workshops, you can include live sessions that you're going to do in the future. You can include custom resources that you're going to build in the future. You can include VIP days, in person or virtual. You can include physical goods. The benefit of this is that you don't have to either make them or purchase them until after you make a sale. So yes, it eats into your margin, but it's a fully variable cost, which is great. Okay, so if your bonus stack's looking a little bit thin, either maybe you're new to business or this is a new offer and a lot of what you have isn't congruent, instead of stacking a whole bunch of shit that's not relevant that might hurt the offer, think about what could I pre-sell? Yes, you're creating a commitment for the future, but you're also bringing in more cash now because you're improving the offer. Okay, and just be really, really clear about exactly what they'll get, when they'll get it, and how it will help them, and then stick to it. If you're going to pre-sell an offer, make sure that you actually deliver it. Okay. The other thing too is this is a great way to validate what your people actually want. This may ultimately mean that something ends up in the core offer. It lets you test angles. You may find people start messaging going, dude, I had to buy just for that, that one bonus. So this is a great way to, test things that maybe you haven't taken to market yet, but you could potentially in the future. Okay. Let's keep going into some more specifics. All right. Some early bird bonuses. I did touch on this before, but it's worth re-mentioning. If you're launching a new campaign, think about a bonus specifically for, say, the first 3, 5, maybe 10 people, depending on how much volume you think overall you can put into the offer. The reason we do this is a couple-fold. One, it gets a bit of momentum going on the campaign. That can help in 2 ways. One, it helps you start to feel good about the campaign quickly, right? There's no worse feeling than you launch something new and it's either no one buys or it's really, really slow and you start to get a bit wobbly and start to doubt yourself and go, should I stick with this? And what happens is a lot of people cut the campaign early. That has a lot of flow-on effect problems. One, optically, in terms of people watching you, they notice, they're like, hey, well, you just kind of killed that thing. Like, what's wrong? And whether they fully realize it or not, it starts to plant this seed of doubt and uncertainty. And then the other problem when you kill campaigns early, which is why it's important to get momentum early, is that you start to doubt yourself. Each time that you pull the plug prematurely, the next time it comes to run that campaign, you're probably not going to go all in out of fear of failure. Okay, and so early bird bonuses, like really good and substantial bonuses, are a great way to get that momentum going early. Okay, and so literally you just put it in the offer as like limited to the first X people. It creates that immediate action. The other thing that, and this depends on the market and depends on your brand, is if you start to get those first few sales coming in, you can share those screenshots. You can share, hey, look, people are jumping in. Hey, look, we've got our first 5 people in. And then you start to get into this groupthink psychology where if people see other people buying, they trust it more, and then more people are likely to buy. Okay, especially if you've got an overall cap and it accelerates those first, say, 5. Now you're talking about 15 to fill instead of 20, and that makes a difference as well. And so it basically just drives a lot more initial momentum, okay? Another little pretty cool little strategy is what I call mid-campaign boosters. So typically what happens, if you run campaigns, you'll know this. You get that initial rush when you launch something new, right? Then we all know that, a lot of sales come in at the end of a campaign, particularly the last 72 hours or so, and we're going to talk about that. But there can quite often be this lull in the middle, and this really depends on the length of campaign, and the length of campaign depends on what you're selling and the goal. But let's say you've got like this week in the middle where you might have a little bit of a lull. Use these mid-campaign boosters, and it can really help prop up the sales and keep in that period and keep the momentum rolling, okay? Simple way is just to add another bonus. So when you're building out your initial stack for the campaign, either create some extra ones that you're going to drop in the middle part of the campaign, or if you've got a kind of an excess in the core stack, pull 1 or 2 of them back and intentionally release them in the middle of the campaign. That's going to, bring in some new interest, hits people from a different angle, and will help, generate a bit more action in the middle part of the campaign where things can kind of lull. I think I touched on this a little bit further down, but another thing that you can do here is either adding or taking away payment plans. So if you don't have a payment plan, you can add one in. If you do, you can take it away. This is all just ways to create, a little bit more action and kind of deadlines within the deadlines, right? Last call editions, right? You can add final deadline specials. So as you're starting to get into that close down period, this can really get fence sitters off the fence if you juice up the offer late and just make it, so compelling and really drive urgency. The other thing I'd say is during this mid-campaign lull and even through the end, like when you're running these campaigns, you shouldn't be half-assing it. You need to be like really all in. And so sit down with a notebook and think, what is every single way that I can get in front of people? And put like scalability to the side for a second, because campaigns aren't about being scalable. Campaigns are about a short cash injection, and we're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week period, right? And so if that means that you're getting back into the DMs, if that means that you're sending people emails, if that means if you're sending text, like get your hands dirty and think, how can I get this offer and these bonuses in front of as many people as possible? And the more into this you get and the more people that see it, the more sales that you're going to make. You're not going to be doing this forever. You're not committing to doing it forever. It's a sprint, right? It's not a marathon, it's a sprint. And so, really go all out and make your campaigns a big thing. That's going to be better for your clients because more of them are going to buy and get your help. And it's going to be better for you because you're going to make way more money, bring more people in, more clients, is more testimonials, and it gets everything spinning better. Okay. A little bit of a chat on implementation timeline. This is really going to depend on the timeline of the overall campaign. And then the structure of, the thing that you are ultimately delivering. But you can roll out your core. This is once they buy, right? Like you can roll out your core training and give them a quick start guide. And then you can start to add in, bonuses, like if you've pre-sold them over the coming weeks. So maybe you do a group call, then you might do an implementation workshop, then you might bring in, some expert guests. But this is just to really show you that like you don't have to give everything at once. It can roll out over time. And this could be week 1, week 3, week 6, week 8. Like you've got time. As long as you communicate with people, it'll be fine. Okay. Here's some thoughts on squeezing a bit more juice out of your bonuses. Social proof integration. So if you've got results that people can attribute to a specific bonus, That's really powerful, because then that's going to increase the desire for that bonus, which in turn increases the desire for the overall package. If really good bonuses, people will buy the whole thing just to get the one bonus. Okay, highlight specific wins, and you could even have them come in and kind of teach as well. That could be a way to pre-sell a bonus, right? When people start coming in, if there's bonuses that they're getting access to, get them to start using them if they're like fast start stuff, and then that can generate results even mid-campaign that you can share, that will then in turn make people want those bonuses, which makes them want the whole thing, right? Make sure that you're demonstrating kind of how all these things work together as well, and demonstrate how relevant they are to the overall transformation. Okay. And then this is a little like final tip for you to kind of round out our discussion. Think about having one or a couple of bonuses that you don't mention at all. Okay. Now, this isn't necessarily going to help from a marketing or a sales perspective, but what it will help from is a goodwill perspective. Okay. And so the first time you do this, it's not going to help that immediate campaign, right? But if people get inside and there's this really, really cool bonus or multiple cool bonuses that they didn't expect, and if their expectations are here and you land here in an industry where most people land here, those people are very, very likely to buy from you again and again and again and again. So the silent bonus can boost the conversions on your future campaigns by generating more and more repeat buyers. And if you've got limited supply, you've got urgency, you've got scarcity, that's going to help squeeze it even more. Okay, so that's a bit of a 101 on some bonus strategies, things that you can use, things that you can think about to take your campaign to a new level, improving the overall quality of them, pre-selling bonuses, how to stack them together, what to do early in the campaign, middle of the campaign, at the end of the campaign, right? How you can roll them out once people get in, how you can really amplify the results of the bonuses. And then while it won't help with the first time you do this, if you want people to buy again and again and again and again, think about some silent ones that bump up their or exceed their expectations, so that in future they're like, that was amazing, I want to work with Jacob or Bob or Sally or whoever. Okay, if you want my help building your lifestyle coaching or consulting business, I would highly recommend that you check out my academy. The details are in the description, but that's all I've got for you in this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.